Hello everybody, it's me, GhostCritic, and we are back to normality. Yes, now Christmas and New Year is all over. Shipping dates over in UK have gone back to normal, and Wednesday is the true new comic book day. And I've got I think it was about 7 or 8 comics to show you this week, which is a lot better than last week when I only really had 3 on my pull list, even though I got a couple of extras along the way. And those books from last week, just to remind you, I did my review video on Sunday. Thank you to everyone who's watched those. Just before I crack on with the books, Friday I'm going to put a new video up. Now, it's part of the whole secret project that I've been working on for a long time. And I'm really not ready, because I wanted to get a lot in the bag before I started posting them up. But I've realised it's a lot of work, and I just want to make sure there's a kind of big enough audience to warrant me putting in all this work, which I don't mind doing. But you know, I don't know how to say it without. I don't want to sound big-headed, but I want to be appreciated for it. I don't mean that in a big-headed kind of way. I just want to know the effort that I'm putting into it is worth it at the end of the day. Because without giving too much away, what I'm doing, I kind of do to myself pretty much every year. I'll explain the whole thing at the start of the video on Friday and explain what's happening with it, hopefully. And I hope that it is appreciated and people want to see more, because it's something I would like to do and continue to do, but all will be revealed on Friday. Right, let's have a look at some books. Like I said, I think there was seven books, not 8. We're going to kick off with 2 DC books that I picked up this week. Issue 6 of Mr. Miracle. Apparently this is the kind of end of the current story arc. This is a 12-issue maxi series, and this is the kind of season 1 finale, so to speak. And I think I've been quite honest with my personal review of this book, in the sense that I think I'm buying this at the moment. I'm buying this predominantly 80% for the art from Mitch Gerard and 20% for the story. And that's not to say Tom King isn't writing a compelling story. I just want him to let the reader in just a little bit more. We're up to issue 6 now, and I feel like I shouldn't still be as kind of confused and unsure of really what's going on here. Perhaps a reread of the first 6 issues once I've finished this off might help, given this is the end of the current story arc. But you know, it's often on people's pick of the week. Tom King seems to be the golden child, along with, you know, the likes of Scott Snyder as well, over at DC currently. In keeping with it, obviously I am. It's a great Kirby creation, and people seem to enjoy it. And like I say, it's beautiful to look at. Tom King does like the constraints, and I say that sort of his 9-panel grid, but at least Mitch Gerard manages to break out of that confines occasionally and play around with the medium of the layouts and the style, but not enough for my liking. The other DC book I got this week was The Flash, issue number 38, and a kind of flip from last issue, at least on the cover, as we get the Flash blasting Captain Cold with the freeze gun. It was kind of the other way round last issue. I'm enjoying this story. It's got the Rogues coming back again. And it's interesting because the last time we saw the Rogues, they wanted to pull off this like last big job, get away with it, Flash to be none the wiser of who was behind it or how they did it, and just basically disappear into the background, never to kind of haunt Central City again. But because the Flash stopped them and uncovered their plot and foiled it all, they now have to do a job that is bigger than the last one, and this will be their last one, I guess. And it kind of rings to what I'm hearing a lot, because I don't read a lot of DC books. But the last person I heard speaking about this was, I think it was last night, was Sleepy Reader, and this kind of thing that in the DC universe that they're playing around with is are superheroes making things worse by being there. I mean, in this instance, you know, the rogues wouldn't be tormenting the population of Central City anymore if they'd have just been allowed to get away with their last big job. So there is this kind of idea that DC apparently are playing with, that, you know, are the good guys needed, or are they just making things 10 times worse? Interesting concept that, you know, it's not a new idea. Let's be honest. I think Marvel have certainly played around with that, with kind of Civil War and all those. So we'll see how this goes, but I am still obviously really enjoying The Flash. 3 books from Marvel this week. We've got issue 19 of Colin Bunn's X-Men Blue, still going on with this cross-time caper storyline, where they're kind of jumping around different versions and eras of the X-Men history and future even. So I'm not quite sure about this storyline yet. I don't know whether this is kind of wrapping up this title to make way for newer ones or newer teams or the like. But it just feels like we've got this whole, because the young X-Men from the 60s are here in our present, they're causing all sorts of time ruptions, which they kind of have to fix, but surely putting them back where they belong is the way to stop it with any kind of finality. Whether this is where Colin Bunn's going with it, the storyline, and waiting to kind of wrap up this kind of volume of X-Men Blue, I don't know, but it just feels like that, and because of that, these feel more like one-shot storylines based, you know, in an era of X-Men that we've seen, you know, in years gone by. But it's an entertaining and fun book enough anyway. Book I'm really back to enjoying is Rosenberg's The Punisher, issue 220, part of the Punisher War Machine storyline. It's just back to great standard Punisher action. He has at his disposal the War Machine armour, and he's going in to infiltrate, I think it's kind of, is it Russia or some eastern kind of bloc country, to clear up some mess that S.H.I.E.L.D. can't be seen to be touching, and you know, it's the Punisher. He goes in hard, and that's what you get now with every issue of the Punisher. Issue 597 of Charles Soule's Mayor Fisk. We had the kind of, not cliffhanger, but the reveal that Wilson Fisk wants Matt Murdock to be his legal representative while he's in office, which is, the irony there is obviously thick, ladled on with a big soup spoon, but we'll see how that kind of relationship and how Matt Murdock deals with basically going to be working with the enemy, and how this is all going to be resolved. An interesting take, with Wilson being this crime boss, kingpin of the criminal underworld of New York, and how he's reached the the point where he has now, where he is basically not just running the underground but basically the overground of New York. Obviously every whim is of his is going to be fulfilled. We'll see how it goes. And just 2 books from Image this week. The always great, the always mad and crazy Stray Bullets, Sunshine and Roses, issue 31, continuing a great run from David Lapham. There's not much more I can say about this. It's just a crazy, fun ride, dark at times, many times. Just an amazingly well thought out book. Wherever it goes, however kind of craziness it throws at you, it all makes sense, it all is interconnected, and I just wanted to live in the mind of David Lapham just for a day, because I think it's pretty crazy in there, and just see how he manages to work all this out and how far ahead he has this book planned, because you know, he does these short runs, these kind of mini-series, and I was never expecting this to go as long as it did and has been doing, and I'm quite happy for it just to keep running. And finally, we are back in Royal City with Jeff Lemire, issue number 9, one of my favourite Image books out at the moment. If you are a fan of kind of like the superhero genre, big action, you know, explosions, all that, fast-paced storytelling, that's not what Royal City is. This is a wonderfully evocative and emotional look into this dysfunctional family who are coping with the death of a sibling, you know, a brother, a son, a friend. And at the moment we've kind of gone back in time, back to the 90s, to kind of basically see how our main character who's dead is going to die, and how massively it's going to affect this family, as we've seen the kind of fallout from that some 20 years later. 20-30 years later. Just a fantastic book, always at the top of my pile to read straight away, because I need to get into this book, one of my favourites. And that's it for this week. Thank you for watching. Please like this video, comment down below, tell me what you picked up this week, and if you're not yet subscribed to my channel, hit the red button. Apparently you can hit a bell now that will notify you when I've got a new video up, which makes it all that much easier to know that I put up a new video. If you like, share this out on Twitter or on Facebook, wherever. Follow me on Twitter at GhostCritic. I have big phases of posting and then I'll be quiet for a little bit, but every Wednesday I always post the covers to the comic books that I put up, which I've just shown you, but then you can get a closer look at them on Twitter. So until Sunday, where I'll be reviewing all those books, don't forget Friday there's going to be a new surprise video coming up. I hope you enjoy it. Until then, bye bye.